All right, so, John, you decided to reopen the D&R Theatre. How come?
Come. I don't think there's just one particular answer, and actually, I just decided earlier in the week. Took some time, and then just thought about it. And actually, I thought about it over the weekend, and I pretty much said no. And I went to Nashville the previous week and talked to the agencies that we had shows with, and future shows, and we had a couple actually in New York, and they kind of did a sales job on me also, from where where we started this to where we were, and I explained the situation, and they gave me other situations throughout the country, but we are kind of unique because typically people don't own their own theaters. It's communities or cities or live nations of the world.
Right.
And so, I got farther and farther, and I just email after email and notes, and people are behind it. And it was never anybody about the fans or the patrons of the theater. It was just all the other stuff around it. And I think I said this the last time I spoke with you, Pat. Guy can only handle so much, and it wasn't like I was going to take my toy and go home or anything of the sort. I kind of wanted to go on quietly. I had no idea it was going to be like this.
Well, how can you see, was part of the quietly thing the cardboard wall? Because I didn't think that was.
Well, I did the wall mostly for security, because I don't want we've had people go in there and our little mannequin do weird things in a mannequin, and I'll leave that thing alone.
Right.
And that just the little things, that happens down there.
Right.
And sometimes that I thought, we've got a pretty big investment in there, and I thought if somebody blows through the door or whatever, that just wouldn't be good. So I looked at it and I told the guys, I said, we were going to do the windows, and then I said, I'll just do the walls. We'll just put a wall up there and get it high enough so somebody can't go over the top. And I didn't know people were going to sign it, Yonich for mayor and all this other stuff.
Right. So what did it feel like when all of a sudden you saw people support you in that fashion?
Well, don't get me wrong. I knew we had support. I didn't know they had organizing. Somebody told me, "Oh man, this is the best PR move I've seen in years." Well, it wasn't a PR move, trust me, and I think you know me well enough. I was done. I really meant I was done. And in 3 or 4 weeks, it could have been 3 or 4 months or 3 or 4 years. I have some shows that I had to get out of. I'll be real honest, and I couldn't. Am I in it? Am I in this for 3 or 4 months and then getting back out? No, that's not the plan. Like I said, if I jump in, I'll go 110%. That was one thing. We were going to eat a lot of money, and I'm not talking 10 or 20 grand. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I wouldn't have went ahead with the shows, and I even looked at other venues actually, just to get it done, and the acts wouldn't do it. They want to play at the D&R. That was part of the deal. That was what the contract was signed to, and that's just where they were going to play it.
John, when you say there were other things that were surrounding it that seemed to be the issues, what were those other things that were bothering you? You said you had community support. You knew that, but what were the other things that were bothering you?
I think the city has been beat up enough on this. I think, and the city was never the total issue. Somebody said, "Oh, now that you've got the tax situation." Well, and don't get me wrong. I think the city is for that. I think the county for that, and the state. But that's something that everybody gets, throughout the state. And that was just a matter of time. And it starts this year or next year. It's a 10-year deal. And that has to do with the actual historic, if you bring it up to the certain standards. And that gives you somewhat of an incentive for people to keep these buildings around. But for the money that you're, the couple $100,000 that you're saving, it doesn't really pencil out that you would go in and do an old building. But it's a nice thing, and I appreciate having that.
Right.
But also, if I opened the building or didn't open the building, it still was going to come. It doesn't make any difference. They don't. There's no loop in there that says, "Oh, okay, if you're operating, you get it." No.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
So you'd mentioned though that the city wasn't the issue. Was it the county? Is it the state? I mean, is it just operating a business in Washington? What was the?
Well, I mean, I've done business in Washington all my life, but it's I mean, everybody has rules that they have to abide by. B&O rules, partner revenue rules, other rules.
Right.
And just like I said, I want to be on an even playing field, and we weren't. And I guess I'll just say as blunt as that. I mean, we were not being treated equally as similar theaters and venues throughout the state.
By who? The state?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what are other people getting?
Well, they weren't paying anything.
Okay. All right.
I was paying through the nose. And, and I understand that, hey, the states, they're trying to get revenue sources wherever they can. And, tax codes can be, looked at differently. I mean, it's all in the perception. I got 5 different answers from 5 different agents. And I kind of took it out of my hands and gave it to my accountant and my attorneys and let them deal with it. But once they researched it, and I don't want to start, holding other venues out to dry because they haven't had to pay. So, I think they didn't have to pay because when the tax was put into effect, or the non-tax on this particular situation that has to do with entertainment, that it wasn't meant to be. Well, I had some people that thought it was meant to be, and they were going to hit us hard, and that was just part of it again, Pat. And if a guy knows that going in, you budget appropriately. I mean, for that, you would put a certain tax that you have to pass on to the patrons. But when you don't have that, you don't pass it.
So what is the long-term plan now for the D&R since you're reopening it?
Well, I mean, you know me. I mean, of course, I go out buy more lights, and we put a screen in there, and we're gonna step it up. I mean, I want to bring up. I brought some local people in. One person on the ticket and promotion side who's going to be doing our per se season ticket, which we're going to get that out this week. And then we got some businesses here. And then again, this is more of a regional deal. This isn't just a Grace Harbor deal. This is a 4-county deal. And because some of these businesses that want to be involved, Lewis and Thurston and Mason, I've also contacted us. Mm-hmm. And said, hey, we want to get involved in this thing, and it's kind of maybe I wish I would have known that before, and this, like I say, there's lots of things. Ticket sales were never the huge part of it. Our ticket sales are okay. Certain shows, no-brainers, and some of those shows, the tickets I wouldn't have bought a ticket for. I mean, so a lot of it's learning on who to bring in and the mix also.
Right.
I mean, the country's a no-brainers, but you can't bring 20 country shows in.
Right.
And as well as I know, I mean, I run a lot of shows across you. Because I think you know it as well as anybody, or probably better than anybody in this market. And I learned off that also. So I think we're really watching who we're bringing in. And if we bring somebody, when we bring somebody in, we're trying to make sure that they're not playing right down the street also.
Right. So it sounds like you have that support, you have that fairness, and that you have a group of people that are helping. It sounds like several areas that make you comfortable with continuing.
Well, more comfortable. I mean, I've had a lot of promises too. I mean, from governmental people. I mean, promise is one thing, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So what would you say to people that are afraid you may close the D&R again? I mean, what's the...
Well, I'll put it this way, if it closes again, we won't be having this interview because I'll probably be packing up out of town.
What's the likelihood of it closing again?
No, I mean, the likelihood is, you don't want to say never. I mean, people need to support it, but they need to support it if it's putting out a good product. And if it's affordable and all the other things. I mean, that's what we've got to take care of.
Right.
And I think if we take care of that, I still think it's a great thing for the harbor. It's just for the surrounding, businesses and areas, and just from what the chamber told me. I mean, just I'm selling the harbor, but there's other things down there too. It's that that I'm looking at, in the downtown area, is that just kind of opened up a lot of eyes. I didn't know. I didn't know we'd get to this. I didn't know we'd have, the rallies and the city council and jamming the chambers, but I think they understand that like it's to take our city back. We're not taking the city back, but we kind of are. I mean, I just like I said, the transient issues before and all that. I mean, it's all kind of wrapped up in everything. It's just not selling tickets to a show. We just need to start making more progress than we have been making. That I think we've been stuck on, just stuck. I'll put it that way. It hasn't been going right, left, or indifferent. It's just been the same old thing. And what the mayor's saying, which I'm all for, and people need to get behind him like they did behind the theater.
So do you feel as if with all the improvements that you're making that maybe you tend to be on an island by yourself down there as far as making downtown improvements go?
I'm an island. I don't know myself. Yeah, well, I am right now. I mean, but we're just finishing up Clevenger, so that's one, and we're expanding and starting to expand the Morey in a month. We just got that property, just got that done, so we're gonna start building over there. But I'm a little bit. I feel I am. I mean, but other guys, I have done. I mean, Frank Franciscovich has done a great job on his, situation, and some other folks in our little area. But that incentive still has to be there, and it's not financial. It's that if somebody puts money in down there, and that's where the council, I think, has to see it, and the county, and in the city, maybe even so the state, that we're going to be behind it. I mean, who would want to go down there and buy a building and not knowing that you have no control what happens next door to you?
Right.
That's I think is frustrating. Or you can't even have your daughters, hey, run when you get out of that car.
True.
Hey, that's just not good, and that's not Aberdeen. That's not what this town's all about.
Well, let me ask you, what's the status of the Mork situation? Are you still interested in that?
Oh, very interested. I mean, that thing we went up and down on, and we thought we had a situation that that we were going to get it back, and it didn't work, and it's nothing personal against the current owners, whatever. But I think they've had plenty of time. I mean, plenty of time since I got out of it, and to where they are now, and now I'm hearing they're talking about starting up again, and I just still think it's going to take some local people, and that's what I have lined up with myself, and because again, would people, I mean, just people say from, Omaha, Nebraska come into town and say, hey, we're going to redo the Mork? Of course they would. It doesn't make a total package of business sense, maybe not. But, it's just sat long enough. And my point is, if the current guys aren't going to do it, and it's apparent they're not, I mean, they could even board up the walls, the city had to pay for that. The city needs to force their hand, and I think that's what Bill and Eric and the fellows down there are saying down to the city, that hey, fix it or it's over, and they've given them they've given them plenty of time, I think.
So you'd want to fix it up and do what with it if you were quiet?
Oh, if it's the perfect scenario. If I had it, I'd have that thing building within 6 months. I mean, we'd have that. We have it, within, and I've talked to the other owners right around there. It's what we need downtown. You had a hotel that creates commerce. I mean, build it and they will come. When you have people down there, shops will come behind the people. You have tourism down there. That's where your little shops go, and your little boutiques and eateries and all. It's kind of like with the theater. I mean, I had a lot of guys from around the area asking me, restaurants come back. Because they saw the effect.
Yeah.
And Amore, we did a little. We've been fortunate because we've been very, very, very busy. But like I say, when we go back into this thing, I guess we're back to it now. And I have a team with me now, somebody who's doing the ticket side of it, somebody who's doing the Facebook and the email blast and all that. It's more of an organization. You're going to see a different just on how we do things inside. Securities can be done different. Ticket takings can be done different. All little things. It's going to be a little bit more professional. It's not going to be as mom and pop as it was for the first 3 years. I want to have it as a professional show. I think we've done a pretty good job, but I want to take it to the next level without costing anybody. I mean, just dotting our I's and crossing our T's, which we didn't do a great job the first time around.
So tell me, who's planned for the theater? Who do you have as far as booked live entertainment?
Well, right now, and I'll know more. Today's Monday, and I'm actually in Wisconsin, beautiful, snowy Wisconsin this morning. I'll be back next couple of days, but we have one fellow by the name of Jesse Cook that we had signed. He's in Bellingham, playing at the Paramount, playing over in Redmond. I don't know if I'm not sure where he's playing there. He is I guess you call him a jazz guitarist, jazz, blues. He's a big name in the guitar world. That will be an inexpensive show, because I heard some people say, "Gosh, I would love to come to D&R, but I never could afford a show." Well, that one you're gonna be able to afford. Another one, which I should have it today. It's called Almost Elton, and I'm not doing a lot of tributes. We'll probably do one or two in a year. This is one, and our plan is doing it with the Grace Harbor Symphony.
Oh, wow!
It's gonna be at the end of this month. And I'm sure half the Symphony members said, "I don't know anything about it," because we just talked about it last week. But I saw this guy in New York, Pat, and I actually showed some of the girls that run a coffee shop and whatever to get their opinions on the younger group, and they all thought, "Wow, Sketch! I mean, he's got it. I mean, and it's a full, background singers. He has a band with the orchestra. I think it'd be kind of a cool show there."
Very cool.
And then Burton Cummings and this guest who guy. That's middle of May. That one's signed. Who's on that one? Oh, then Three Dog Night signed. And then I think the one after that was going to be Josh Turner or Johnny Lang, and both of them I have contracts. I have to decide which way we want to go. And then Scotty McCreery signed. White Snake signed. And then who's the other one? Come on, Country Pat, help me here.
You're talking about you did.
What's their names? Anyway, Gentry, Montgomery Gentry.
Montgomery Gentry. Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Foreigner, and I go right down the list.
Right. Okay. So you got all this stuff handled more professionally going forward. You got the support. What is it that makes you want to do this in downtown Aberdeen? This whole thing. What is it what drives you to do this?
Alcohol? Can I say that? No, I can't say that. I hope I got that delay button.
There's, sadly no. But what kind of drive is it?
Pat, I don't like to lose at anything, and I have a lot of community pride, and I'm that, I believe in that Grace Harbor. I mean, I believe in the people there, and I've done the hard part. I mean, the theater and a couple of other buildings, the other ones will be easier, and I can get other people involved. But it's just that I don't like to lose at anything. I'm ultra competitive. I'm not stupid. But and I don't mind putting the time in. As long as I get the support, I'm not beating my head against the wall. But sometimes when it's against the wall, it just after a while you just say that's enough. So I guess I'm in a nutshell. It's just that. Do I still have to drive? Yeah. I love it when I see those shows and people coming out after a show. There's nothing better when they're coming out and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe, we see this in Seattle or Portland or Vegas or whatever. It's here,
Yeah.
And then it's great saying people from out of town saying, "Boy, this is a great theater you guys have here. I'm coming back." That's the type of stuff. I think that drives me. That the parts that I missed. The coffee shop, from all the regular guys coming in there every day at 10 o'clock, basically figuring out, how to fix the city or how to fix the county or the little things like that you can't put a number on. If I don't believe in it, how can I get other guys to believe in it? And so if I pull out, what do I do with the other people? But, I'll give it a run. I'm going to give it a hard run this time, and not that I didn't before. We did 50 shows. And it's not like I just kind of sort of tried, but it's all aligned. We've done a few things that I think that need to be done differently, and kind of had a chance to take a breath, and we're going to jump at this and do our best.
All right. Well, when you're back from snowy Wisconsin, drop on by and we'll chat some more.
I love, and
Free. Okay, well, congratulations on reopening.
Okay. All right, pal. Thanks for your support. I really do appreciate it.
You bet, man. We'll talk to you soon, John.
All right. See you.
Okay, bye.